I have you here. So here we go with the first game between Black Forest and Clan Ark from division number 2. And we are gonna be starting apparently on home map of BFs. Well, this is definitely home map of BF. It's gonna be migration for them. To be completely honest, I was thinking right before the match if actually BFs are really gonna be playing this map, because you mustn't forget that Arks are basically known for being very good on water maps, like, and I mean very exceedingly skilled on playing water maps. And looking at the lineup today of Aramis and Maxi, yeah, well, that's gonna be pretty tough. Even though Stefan is not really an expert for water maps, that's of course an arena expert. He has been playing with Ark for quite some time in different different positions and whatnot, and different maps, also in RTS League, so he should be quite skilled already. And this is gonna be probably a very hard game for BFs, even on their home map. Yeah, Migration is a home map that Black Forest definitely like over the past seasons, basically similar to other Germans like New Chapter as well. So they kind of feel comfortable on this map. But, well, of course, if this is gonna go south for them in some kind of significant manner, you could be expecting as the Arks will be picking islands as the next one. So we could be in for a long haul on water maps this time around. Well, but we're also gonna be seen, because if I remember correctly, Arks are also playing arena. They have played it in the past games, especially since they are having arena expert like Stefan in there. So yeah, can I guess why not use the opportunity when you have that. But of course the civilizations in the meantime are gonna be for BFs. Double Vikings and Persians, and for the opponents is gonna be Persians, Vikings and Japanese. And who is actually in the pockets in there? Well, blue, it's gonna be, yeah. So one Viking in the pocket is gonna be Persian on the flank, definitely not ideal. They were probably hoping that the Persian would be sticking to the pocket position, but yeah, that's not the case, which could be some kind of opportunity for Argentinians, especially since he's gonna be fighting against Aramis, who is as a Viking, so this is gonna be very hard for the Persian to actually deal with. That might be quite a big help to the Argentinian teams, and for them in the pocket it's gonna be Persian, which is kinda alright. For a migration map, as of course on the other flank it's gonna be the Japanese, which is not really bad, but of course usually, you know, Japanese are useful in pocket, especially on islands, but on team, or rather on migration, it's slightly different, as of course, well, the pocket player Persian could be quite a bit more useful if he actually transitions into land in some kind of reasonable time and with some good economy. He could be quite dangerous in that game plan for the opponents, of course. Well, looking overall, we are also right now looking at quite plenty of water and fishies at the bottom, so it seems like nobody is gonna be making any kind of mistake with placing the docks. And looking around the map, it seems to be more or less the same, except here. Except exactly this. Yes, unfortunately, it seems like the worst position for a dog that Maxi could have ever had. Yeah, I can see the whole emptiness in there, and the deep fishies being quite far away. This is not really ideal at all, as even though for the star he does have some shorefish that are quite close by, it's not really great because they are usually problematic for efficiency. He does have at least one deep fish in there. Yeah, they just weren't jumping, so I didn't really see them properly. But yeah, this is really the shortest straw of the draw. This is not great for Maxi, but I'm kinda thinking that Maxi with his skill is gonna be quite capable of dealing with that in the early game at least. Otherwise, of course, he's having plenty of fishies at the back, which is something that he will quite probably want to use, as he is a Japanese. So he wants to use the bonus for all the fishing boats and whatnot. So definitely something for him, as we are also looking at the placement of the dock a bit more to the north by Stefan, which is slightly interesting. We'll be maybe thinking that as a pocket player, he could be thinking about dock somewhere at the backside. Maybe hoping that he can somehow basically leverage this into a very good heroic age, or rather castle age heroic age, that's Age of Mythology, of course. But, well, it's not really that bad, considering he's having luck on quite a lot of deep fish in this position. So, in the end, it seems to be working quite alright for him. It's almost kind of signaling also that he could be wanting to help his teammate Japanese, which definitely makes sense. Because on the other flank, he's having Aramis, highly skilled water player, with Vikings, so what more can you actually want? So, he probably is not all that expecting that he should be helping the grey player in the game, like, probably at all. It's probably gonna be all up to Aramis on the left flank, whereas at the top it might be just a bit different in there. Otherwise, of course, you'll be then expecting that, of course, the player at the bottom, that is Elkvark, who is the only non-Viking on his team, is gonna be probably helped a bit later by the fast castling J-Squared. I'm kinda expecting at this point that he's gonna be fast castling, even though it's not really all that ensured. I have seen in this season even strategies requiring, or rather requiring, actually having all the players going for Galley Rush. Not really any kind of fast castle or whatnot. So at this point, not entirely certain. And since BFs are the experts of migration, maybe they're having something special in mind for their opponents because they know that arcs are very good on water maps, so they probably might be having some special thing on their mind. You can already see that arcs are thinking about slinging from feudal with coinage. It seems like it's gonna be swing up to both and go center. Okay, so they are basically telling or rather to Stefan what he's gonna do. Or not? I'm kind of confused right now slightly. If it was actually meant for Stefan, or if it's actually gonna be Maxi who's gonna be doing that. But since he's on the flank, I don't expect him to sling. It would be kind of very risky. So yeah, let's just be sensible in here. It was probably a message for Stefan, so Stefan should be slinging into both and advancing onto the mainland quite soon. But so far for the opponents we haven't seen yet, which basically means that they are quite probably on some kind of team speak or whatnot, and they are communicating through normal speech. In the meantime, of course, we are advancing into feudal ages. Apparently Maxi is gonna be the very first one in there, as he's having second dock in the front of the island as well. This is kind of slightly unfortunate maybe for him. Because if this is right next to the wall of the map, the boats cannot pass here, it could be giving him some kind of better opportunity of controlling what the opponent does. He would be having slightly better control of overall the channel and such, but yeah, in the meantime, it seems like that he probably won't have to worry about it all that much, because he has advanced significantly faster than Philip AJS. You can see Philip, even though he's Viking, is advancing at 90 villages, he's very slow. You can see Maxi at 20 villages and 4 fishing boats, already in the feudal, quite a lot faster. So it seems he was playing a bit more efficiently than his opponent. In the meantime, docks are apparently gonna be 4 Philip AJS at the back. This is slightly surprising, to be honest. Was expecting that, especially as a Viking, he would want to be aggressive on a flank position, but apparently not. So this is kind of telling me that maybe, just a bit maybe, this could be a reaction to either the bad start, or maybe there's some kind of special plan actually brewing for Black Forest. But well, we're gonna be seeing in the next minutes, I guess. In the meantime, of course, in the Pocket Island, we are still seeing docks being produced absolutely everywhere. A bit more to the south, it seems. Slightly more, but it seems like, well, not really. It's actually equal. He was just a bit too late to actually build them in there, so he's basically open to go anywhere he wants. But it's gonna be much more easier for him to actually go to the south, you can see, because of this little peninsula. Whereas the huge swath of land that is protruding into the water from the mainland in here is gonna be making stuff very hard, because from those docks to get there, yeah, well, that's a long way. A long way to actually help, as you already see that Maxi has made the route from his own base, and he's gonna be already trying to deny the economy to Philip, who was advancing very, very late and quite unexpectedly so, has to be said. In the meantime, we are also at the bottom looking at what Aramis is gonna do. Where are actually his boats? Do we see them yet? Apparently not. Apparently not. You can see that actually Red was advancing slightly faster, so as opposed to what I was thinking, he might be having some upper hand, at least in the early game. But that could probably, or rather should be switching around, as of course the Viking will be kicking in with his bonus for the cheaper galleys. So let's see about that. Villages 24 for him, 29 for Stefan, that's fast castle, 28 for Elkvark already right about now. Interesting. 32 for J squared, so J squared is right now at feudal age, and 32, that's of course fast castle as well. No doubt about that whatsoever. But let's move to the top, where it seems like there's a bit more water battle going on, as Maxi with the fast advance apparently caught Philip AJS quite significantly off guard, as even though he finally does have a few boats here and there, apparently he was even repairing them through the guy in here, it doesn't seem like that he should be having all that easy game. And this is definitely well played by Maxi, recognizing the danger and doing what he can to somehow at least somehow control the situation for the time being. So well done in here. Yeah, this is definitely not gonna go well for green. As for blue, is he finally making some kind of boats or not? So far not sending them to the top at least. Is he sending them to the bottom? Not yet, so he's basically just now going to be preparing to produce in the first boats. Yeah, he is just now advanced, okay. He was just advancing a bit later so that he can get into the castle age, but in the meantime, of course, Aramis was able to produce enough boats to somehow control the waters at the bottom against Elkvark, even though he's not really controlling it. This is just Elkvark having too much respect. Definitely too much respect. You can see he's having about, I don't know, 10 plus boats. His opponent is having a bit less. About 2 boats less, I'm thinking. So this is definitely a fight that Red should be taken as soon as possible, and finally is, and we can see the confirmation of the sling as well. Stefan is going to be slinging into both Aramis and Maxi, helping them basically somehow keep control of the waters, and then when he has enough resources himself, he's of course gonna be switching into the mainland, trying to somehow control it by himself, which is of course exactly how migration can be played to good efficiency. In the meantime, Green is apparently running away with a few boats of his own, as apparently there's gonna be already landing. It's a bit surprising. Already landing going on by J Square. Gonna see the transport boat in there, as he is at least losing the economy right now through very nice radiant of Maxi. And that was the reason why the boats of Green were actually there as well. I was kind of thinking they might be retreating from like some kind of unfortunate engagement, but they actually weren't. And they were actually going into full-on attack mode, following after actually the enemy. Yep, two Vikings, they are right now also potentially seeing those transport boats. They are fine, especially, well, of course, you can see that Aramis is fine. He does have the boats, he's controlling the situation quite alright against Elkvark, but I would be maybe liking Elkvark to be a bit more aggressive. So far I see plenty of respect, plenty of not really needed respect, or rather, it's not like Aramis was bad, but just take the opportunity. You just can't win if you are just gonna be passive. It's very hard to win from a passive position, so if you are having the number of boats, just go for it and see. Maybe it's gonna be working alright, and if not, you can just always retreat from the battle. So yeah, why not give it a shot? In the meantime, of course, Orange is having so many boats at the top as well, as he's trying to control Green altogether, and he's doing a pretty good job of that, as Green so far hasn't been able to establish himself at all. Like at all, and he is under very hard pressure by Maxi, and Maxi is exactly confirming that Arcs are experts on water maps. Okay, so we're having a bit of a pause. Let's check if maybe that wasn't something a bit more. Oh, apparently not. They are right now continuing right off, even didn't get to do that. But how's it looking then with the landing? That's one transport boat, second is at the top, already getting filled. And he's gonna be having quite good position on the land. You can see this gold, stone, plenty of gold, actually ton of gold. This is actually very nice. Very nice for them to land on, and if they can somehow control it through TCs, that would be really good for them. Yep, double pocket, or rather double wing. They right now know what is the situation, which should be basically help them what to do, and that's going to be Stefan Arc advancing into Castle Age, which is of course gonna be just already a bit late, but he was slinging in the meantime, and that meant that he helped his teammates quite significantly, and right now he's gonna be switching so that he can also transport himself on the land, because since they are seeing the double Vikings, they are probably expecting that the water fight is not gonna be that easy for them, and that means that it should be slightly better if they basically keep the waters at least at some kind of stalemate before they can actually conquer the land, and the conquering of the land should be coming from Stefan. I can already see there is a transport ship getting ready to move everything on the land, with of course the blacksmith, so that he can advance into Castle Age and also getting the cartography in there. So war galley coming in for Aramis, coinage for J Squared. So J Squared is gonna be apparently slinging, yes he is. Philip into Philip AJS. Well, Philip definitely needs that because he is in pretty deep trouble against Maxi. And Maxi advancing into Castle Age with Philip AJS as well has to be said. Well, still, he doesn't have all that much of an extra advantage against him. And kinda curious why actually Orange didn't push it a bit more. I'm quite curious about that because he was having advantage and he cannot really hope to hold it against a Viking as a Japanese on the water. That's just not gonna work for you. So if you are not gonna be keeping the opponent numbers low, just quite obviously gonna be overpowered sooner rather than later. So it's kind of a weird decision, to be honest. Weird decision overall, but yeah, well, apparently they are right now going to be killing fishes from the pocket, because pocket is apparently, according to them, going for the economy and for the water, which could be true, but he's also landing. He has already landed with the villager, but that might be actually only for dock. Not really certain right now. Ah, yeah, well, you can see here on the left, that's because of the dock. So he's not really landing fully yet. He does have the villages in there, but it seems like it's more for efficiency of the docks rather than anything else. As for the opponent, it's gonna be exactly the opposite side. Stefan right now reacting as a person with the stables, and he's gonna be trying to control the opponents and not allowing them to land at all with all the horses that he's gonna be producing. So Castle Age hit for him. And I'm kind of thinking that right about now, BFs could be slightly confused what's actually going on. They might have been thinking that actually there is going on sling, or rather there is sling going on all the time. But since he has advanced into the castle age, they might be thinking, or rather they should be probably thinking, as knowing how migration is played, that he's gonna be landing. And that should be prompting them to land as well, as this battle for Aramis is just, yeah, kind of keeping things in check, not much anything else. As here we are looking at something a whole lot different that we have already discovered, or rather Maxi has discovered that they have already landed, and well, Stefan is already looking at this village as well, who is trying to protect herself in there, but unfortunately it's not gonna be working against the scout cavalry. So kinda goodbye villager, especially without the loom. You can see, well, you are on island, so kinda why bother with the loom at this point, but it's gonna be costing you a villager, most definitely. So goodbye Willy. She's gonna be dead, as the water battle right now seems to be quite deadly for Maxi. He's gonna be losing absolutely everything in there, which is not great, and this is exactly gonna be confirming that the battle on the top for Philippe AJS, since Maxi left him alone for some time, it's right now gonna be turning around, and yeah, I don't really expect Orange to be having all that much luck in here. So it's probably gonna be all about how long Aramis can keep El Quark and potentially even J Squared engaged in the battle at the bottom, which seems quite probably for a bit longer than might have been expected at the start. But much more importantly, Stefan is playing very well on the land. He's already established a TC and a few more extra buildings like the stables, extra town center number 2, of course the barracks, and of course the monastery as well. And he's just gonna be producing plenty of knights everywhere and trying to make sure that the opponents are not gonna be landing like at all. And if he can achieve that, then of course congratulations. And even the one water is not gonna be that huge for BFs, but still they mustn't underestimate that, because I have seen plenty of migrations where the team basically gave up water, but gave up way too soon, which resulted into them not even having any kind of good chance on the land, because if you lose your economies on the mainland too soon and you are not ready to transport at the time, then yeah, well, you're just gonna get steamrolled, because you might be first on the land, but you're just not gonna be having enough manpower to actually hold it. So let's wait what happens in here. This seems like basically confirming what we saw a bit before. Philippe AJ is having just plenty more boats, and since he's Viking, it's just gonna be getting the wars for the Japanese player. So we don't expect any kind of good news for Maxi. And basically right now the task of Maxi is to hold the water kinda at least interesting for the longest time before he can transport his villages and before the pocket player can transport it as well. Yeah, you can see exactly. He's recognizing, also posted it in there to his teammates, that he lost the water. He needs right now to transport all the villages. He needs to produce extra boats so that he can keep those boats from coming there too soon. And well, before he would be ready to actually prepare himself on the mainland. So Stefan Ark advancing into Imperial Age as the second player. You can see Philippe AJ is already going to be having galleons. And well, he is absolutely everywhere, and apparently gonna be switching also to the right side to help El Quark as the Persian and not Viking against the Viking Aramis. So that's a very nice cooperation right there. It's definitely gonna be helping him. As there was also a transport boat, so maybe there could be some kind of idea also for it to transport onto the mainland. But with all the horses right now by actually Stefan and all the other arcs transporting as well finally, because they are recognizing it's time to somehow relinquish the water more or less, or relinquish, they are kinda gonna lose it. So it's not like they have all that much of a choice. Unfortunately for Orange, it also means that he didn't get to transport all that many villages. He's gonna be losing, yeah, quite plenty of them, about 20 at least. That's not great for him. Not great for him at all. But still, he did have at least 15 in there, it seems like. And they're gonna be helping him rebuild in the longer run. In the meantime, of course, Purple is absolutely everywhere, even though he's having some kind of help by Maxi to defend the boats, or the fishing boats in there. It's not gonna be lasting for much longer, as Purple should be transporting all the villages sooner rather than later, because yet again, Maxi is already through, and that also means that right about now, Philippe AGS is gonna be through on him as well. Yet again, it's just gonna be the last chance. How actually right about now Arcs can win is to completely deny any kind of landing opportunities into the mainland and basically be just too strong on the land for BFs to overtake them. As yeah, the water battles are more or less done. You can see this is gonna be one of the last stands by actually by Aramis. Yeah, it's not gonna be continuing for much longer, of course, as we are looking at Red finally moving onto the mainland. He's gonna be having a castle. Interesting choice. He's going for a castle right now, basically gonna be controlling the channel as well through it. So for that kind of way, it makes sense. But otherwise, of course, he's gonna be also scouted by Purple, and Purple is gonna be trying to do what he can to somehow not allow extra TCs and whatever else that the opponents might be doing. Yeah, I'm just right now fishing if maybe they're already doing something else. Apparently not. Yeah, the water is just fully controlled right about now by the green player at the, well, at the top and at the middle. And of course there is also quite a good amount of units from him at the bottom, so it seems like that really the water is gone for the Argentinian team. So they're gonna be fully trying to transport onto the mainland. It's gonna be of course quite hard, as you can see that unfortunately Argentinians, especially Aramis, doesn't have the transport boat yet. That he could be producing somewhere to the back and transport a few more villages in here, as of course he does have at least the TC already on the middle land, as Purple is developing himself as much as he can, and he's doing a very good job of that, because he's at 87 villages, which is by far the most, 47, 38 for the rest, as for the opponents is 60 at the best for J Squad, and then 31 and 43, so this strong economy from the Persian player could be playing quite a significant role. Even through the losing of the water. As well, Blue is moving on to mainland. They're gonna be in plenty of gold still, but is it gonna help them? It's a question, because this kind of land could be very tricky. It's gonna be very hard to actually conquer from the land altogether. So this might be turning into a bit of a longer game, as they might not be wanting to relinquish it all that much, and they might be hoping that somehow through the land, or rather through winning the water, they still will be able to maybe even turn the game around on the mainland as well. Let's see about that. What I'm slightly confused about, how far as Arcs actually are doing and playing, is why they are not really controlling better the shoreline. Just kinda place outposts in there. Just make sure that you know when actually green is gonna be landing you or whatnot. Even though so far he's fully on water, he still could be coming in there, and you need to also keep in check what Blue is gonna be doing. So yeah. He is moving at least at the bottom with all the outposts, but I would be definitely liking if he plays them at the top as well, as he kinda needs to know what the players are gonna be doing. So, last stage of the water battles is happening in the corner behind Stefan. Also apparently Aramis is trying to basically give some extra time to his teammate to transport and mainly to gather a few more resources, like exactly the gold mine in there. So that is of course gonna be helping us. In the meantime, already Cavaliers are coming up and the Imperial Ages are in full swing for Aramis as well. So let's see if he's gonna be still continuing with the water fight or not, because so far I'm not all that certain. But what he could be doing on land. Yeah, he's not ready for land, so he's probably still gonna be continuing with some galleons. It's probably right now thinking, let's keep the game player busy. And if we can keep him busy, then it's still gonna be meaning even more time for actually Stefan to win the game on the land. And that's probably the plan right now for Arcs. Just trying to stall on the water, keep it alive as long as possible, the battle in there, and in the meantime somehow secure the land and basically force BFs into a resign through not being able to control the land at all. But well, it's gonna be still curious. Paladins coming in from Stefan, but he's already facing Paladins, or rather Halberdiers from the Persian. So of course it's always gonna be hard unless he receives some kind of significant assistance. What that assistance actually could be? Well, something from Maxi? I don't think so. Maxi doesn't have anything. He's right now producing a market so that he can maybe sling. I'm thinking as Grey is also having nothing. So it's apparently gonna be all up to the Persian. And since he's having this, he should be probably coming for chemistry. And hand cannoneers, even though that's very expensive. Very expensive, and I'm not all that certain that he can actually somehow keep up with that. It's gonna be very hard. The castle by the Persian, like, really? Really, Elquark? That's weird. He shouldn't really be able to hold this, and I'm kind of thinking there's a hole in the wall. He could be getting right at the back of them. There really isn't a hole? I would be confused if there wasn't. There has to be a hole. You can see even the Halberdier is moving in there. That's weird. But anyway, they should be stopping this castle. I don't really see how they could not. But at the same time, they could not. And if the castle check comes up, well, that's gonna be a huge problem. Huge problem for the Argentinians. A quite big little victory. For the Black Forest. But the Paladins are in. That's gonna be power spike. And suddenly, the Halberdiers are not gonna be good, but, well, suddenly on the other way, the castle is gonna be a huge problem. So unfortunately, somehow Stefan managed not to kill it. That's really weird. I just can't believe there is not a hole in there between the workshop and the palisade. I just cannot believe that. Just cannot believe that at all, but this is a huge, huge blowback and setback, because of course this is gonna be stopping the economy that was budding for Maxi in here, and of course even though there is a castle from Stefan as well, for the same purpose to basically somehow control the position in there. Yeah, the lost economy in there is not great at all, especially considering that right about now BFs are basically confirming the water dominance altogether. You can see that not even Aramis is gonna be continuing all that much. With his galleons, he's basically losing significant resources right about now for more or less nothing. It's gonna be it, and we're gonna be waiting probably for some kind of cannon galleons to make sure that they clear absolutely everything that is in reach. Which is all of this, I'm fairly certain. Even the TC and whatnot, this is gonna be all in cannon galleons range, as otherwise, well, purple is doing a good job in there, trying to get the economy going, with green having just a bit of a control in there. Town center for Persian, for Elkvark, but is it gonna be enough? Well, it could be. It really could be, because they are having right now the second castle, and they are definitely establishing themselves very well. But with the siege, gonna be getting a bit different connotation. This castle is gonna be coming up, yeah, that's not really much of a question about it. It's gonna be needing plenty more, and it seems like that actually slinging to Stefan, I'm not thinking if it's gonna be all useful. A bit of gold, probably. But I think that somebody seriously needs to somehow support him against the halberdiers, and that someone needs to produce either archers, or they need to produce the hand cannoneers. Hand cannoneers would be probably useful for the Persian himself, but he just cannot really spread his resources that thin. So I don't really think that's gonna be useful for him. But really, he cannot fight against halberdiers just like that. That's gonna be a trash war, more or less. And looking at the numbers, he's having kind of problems having all that many of them, that he could be having population advantage, like population efficiency. So this is gonna be a very hard battle, and well, even though there's some extra shots going on from the castles, and apparently the paladins are winning this little battle, well, can they actually win in the long run? Let us see. So far the halberdiers are not even fully upgraded. They're missing plenty of upgrades on attack actually. So not really good news. As for the opponent, we are looking at full-on upgraded paladins. So this is also part of the reason why the halberdiers actually lost so horribly. They shouldn't have lost that badly in there. They were fully upgraded, but they are just having +1, and that's just not good enough, is it? But cannon galleons coming up for Philip AJS, exactly for what I said a bit before. They're gonna be apparently trying to control everything from the shoreline, which is exactly what they should do, and they have quite plenty of it to actually kill. You can see, for example, even this food economy could be destroyed for Maxi, for of course the purple player as well, and I'm not even talking about Aramis, who is still having even plenty of stone in there. And well, Red is developing himself quite well through the bottom, and he seems to be doing what he can to keep the paladins at bay, but he's kinda alone, and he could be using some kind of assistance from the teammates, which is definitely not coming. Definitely not coming at all, as it's almost looking like that maybe they are both slinging him. It's almost looking like that. Yeah, 25, yeah, he's definitely slinging. Philip AJS is not slinging, but he's still taking, or rather fighting for the water. So it seems like this is basically just alone Elkvark against more or less all three arcs, even though the arcs are not... switch that! I was looking at the economy some few minutes ago, and they weren't really looking all that stellar, but they are at very good numbers. So 125, 95 and 79 against just 86, 64, 39. Oh well, this changes things quite significantly. Alright, so this is looking suddenly not great for VRs, and suddenly very great for arcs. This huge difference in economy, with how much of a control of the land actually arcs already have. Yeah, this should be basically heading one way. Even through the lost water, I don't really think that the water should be really making any kind of difference at this point of the game. Even through the cannon galleons, he can just kill a few buildings here and there on the shoreline. But the core of the island is most definitely arcs, and they're gonna be having such a strong economy through that position that there's like no way for actually BFs to get rid of that. Especially considering they're gonna be running out of gold in, well, just a few minutes in there. Stefan arc right now popped, and yep, he will definitely need some assistance from his teammates, so he doesn't need any sling anymore, and it needs to be coming for other players, for probably the Japanese rather than the Viking. Even at the same time, the Viking could be producing the arbalests quite alright, but yeah, the Japanese could be better for producing a few castles and getting some samurais going. Yeah, a few idle paladins here and there, but he is definitely right now destroying Elkvark. Quite significantly so, and it seems they're gonna be having one of the last bastions on this part of the island, but yeah, it's just economy and nothing else. Nothing else really, as of course even some extra skirmishes are being made right about now by Aramis. Basically make absolutely anything that he can, with another castle being in the middle for Stefan Arc. Yeah, this is looking kinda gone for BFs, to be honest. This is looking kinda gone for them at this point. They did do quite nice effort, even through the double Vikings. You can see not even double Vikings on water is any kind of assured win. It really isn't. You just need to be prepared quite well for it. You need to be having very good strategy, and you can still be outplayed. So just don't think that any kind of multi-civilization in is gonna be some kind of easy win. It's not, and it's been proven. It's been proven so many times in RTS League in the past seasons that, well, maybe finally players are getting a bit of an idea that it might be true. At any rate, we are still moving forward, with, of course, Stefan trying to control what he can, but of course there's right now gonna be assistance by Philippe AGS with all the bows that he can get. But with all the walls in there, it's gonna be kinda hard for Purple to push through, unless they somehow make a significant comeback on the water, which apparently is exactly the idea behind what Aramis is doing. Yeah, well, that was brave. Going for the gold. Yeah, well, good luck. But at least it's some kind of forced target for all the boats, which is helping him a bit. So not really all that bad. But of course, considering all those boats, and much more importantly, that actually there are already more for Aramis actually going up, and he still does have plenty of docks. This is looking like that actually fight for the water might be still going on between the Vikings right about now, Aramis and Philippe AGS, which is, of course, not a bad idea, and it will just basically support the supremacy of arcs on this map. Yeah, they are fully controlling the land. There's not much of a question about that. Like, basically even the castle in place of the enemy castle that was there a bit before. This is just a full confirmation that BFs are kinda just refusing to die right about now. They're definitely trying what they can. They're not resigning too fast, which is exactly what you shouldn't do. You never know what your opponents are gonna be screwing up. But we from the observer position in here can kinda see where this game is going to be going. And looking at the economies, 122, 103, 96, against 96, that's nice. But then 52 and 39, yeah, you can just not expect that it's going to be leading into any kind of different result. Especially with Aramis finally putting his back yet again, or rather yet again, into the water battle. So it seems like that it will be coming for arcs in the end. Even through very nice and brave effort by BFs, which looked quite promising, because on the water they were kinda fast, but you could have seen that arcs reacted very well and very correctly. As soon as they have seen that their opponents are having two Vikings, they basically decided that the water is gonna be very hard for them, and they switched from slinging from the pocket into advancing into castle age, and then going onto the land faster, and this is exactly what led to Stefan being in the position that he is in. Yep, it seems like they don't really need even any slinging to each other. They refuse in slings, so yeah, that's how well off they are at this point. As of course, even some extra castles are gonna be produced by the paladins. Well, not really paladins, they just overseen the production and the construction. And yeah, Black Forest, not entirely certain what they're actually hoping to achieve right now, because they realistically don't have too many ways how it could be actually somehow turning this around. You can see J Squared right now even switching into Castle Age, into banking and whatnot, getting some siege time for Elkwark. They are still hoping that they can make something happen, but well, I just don't see it. I just don't really see it, so they're probably just having a bit of fun and trying to decide what's going to be happening for the next game. Looking how it actually went here, I'm kind of thinking that we might still see islands as the home map for arcs. They have proven themselves quite capable on the water maps, and if they have learned their lesson with multiple Vikings in the game, then we could be seeing like double Vikings from them against the opponents. Will be probably going double Vikings as well, and then it could be quite an interesting water battle for them. So, well, of course, boats in good enough numbers for Aramis, but there is already quite nice maneuvering actually going on by Max, or rather by Philip, and he's trying to close him in the channel. Which is not a bad idea, because in that way he does have more boats. He most certainly does have more boats, and he could basically eliminate the problem in there in one big swing. One big swing indeed. Even some blocks are gonna be coming up right about now by Maxi, who is advancing into Imperial Age as well, as Cannon Galleon is coming for Aramis also. And once actually Aramis is having Cannon Galleons, then yeah, that's gonna be just a confirmation of it being done. Because even you can see he's even landed right about now. He's even landed in there. That's so well done with the Paladins, and he's right now destroying the economy as GGs are going to be called. You can see even Aramis trying to abuse the economy from the shoreline as well, and this is gonna be coming for Arcs after very interesting game. And BF's actually reaching for very good position, but unfortunately they were outplayed by good team play and good strategical and tactical decision making by Arcs. Oh, switching from the water battle and the sling into basically transporting onto the land a whole lot faster. That was the key to victory. That definitely was. So, good job. And let's check into the achievements in here. You're gonna be looking at Stefan, who is having the highest score, quite deservedly so. He was the most important player in the game. But equally important for overall arcs was definitely Aramis. Because Aramis was the one who was keeping the water battle alive for so long and basically kept BF busy and kept them from landing too soon and gave Stefan all the time to develop himself into the beast that he came to be in the late game. Well done, Arxes, to be said. Well, so that was home map for BFs, unfortunately not working for them. Let's see if they can maybe win on the home map of their opponents, which my personal guess is Islands, but it could be also Arena. Those two maps are, in my opinion, the top picks for them. But well, maybe I'm gonna be completely wrong and it's gonna be something like Arabia. You never know. It's usually actually not a bad idea against a team that is having actually a home map on the water map to go land map like Arabia. It's usually not a bad idea. So let's see how comfortable actually arcs are gonna be feeling. Well, GG. This is kind of interesting. You can see even the same amount, or rather the same amount of villages the whole time in there, and just there are plenty of boats. Big battle, apparently lost a bit, and then, yeah, finally Grey coming back into the water battle and basically making life very difficult for Philip. Well, GG.